Right now at 9, a woman wanted on child predator charges is arrested at a Galena motel. We'll have the latest. Plus, one man is dead and another person injured following a crash in Delaware County. And the Robot Adventures Camp kicks off at Pittsburgh State University. We'll take you there. KOAM News at 9 starts right now. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Chris Warner. On Friday, the Galena Police Department was notified by the Simpson County, Mississippi Sheriff's Office that a woman with a federal arrest warrant and an endangered runaway juvenile may be in the Galena area. Galena Police worked with the U.S. Marshal Service and the Simpson County Sheriff's Office in helping to locate the suspect and the runaway juvenile. Last night, around 11:30, Galena Police, with the help of the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office and Quapaw Nation Marshal Service, served a federal arrest warrant at the Galena Motel. Suspect was taken into custody. They also located the runaway, who was taken into custody as a child in need of care. One man is dead in Delaware County following a crash between a utility terrain vehicle and an SUV. The crash occurred last night around 9:30 on US 412 alternate and South 590 road. Officials say 19-year-old Lonnie Bridges of Kansas, Oklahoma was killed after failing to yield to the oncoming SUV. 18-year-old Jada Jones was a passenger in the UTV and was treated and released at Washington Regional Hospital in Fayetteville. It was another warm one, but still not as bad as it had been. Nick Kelly joining us.
No, thankfully, Chris, we kept the humidity relatively low, but that resulted in a nice mild start in the upper 60s this morning, and then catapulting to at least 93, 94 degrees for this afternoon. Thankfully, we haven't had anything to track on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. We have mostly clear skies throughout the day. That's what will hold it steady as we go through the night. But here's our upper level ridge. Back in control once again. The humidity hasn't quite built in, so I don't think that'll be a problem, as unfortunately we can see it warm back up as we go into Monday. You can see overnight lows for most of us dropping back into the lower 70s. Mostly sunny skies throughout much of the day, maybe some extra cloud cover by the afternoon. But Chris, we're going to be flirting with the upper 90s for highs once again. But I got a couple storm systems on the way that could give us some up and down temperature rides and even some slight rain chances. We'll break it all down here in a few.
All right, Nick, thank you. Today kicked off the Adventures in Robotics Kids Camp at the Pitt State College of Technology. 10 area teachers have registered and will be receiving training over the newest Lego robotics system, Spike Prime. These 10 teachers will then be mentoring students all next week during the Adventures in Robotics Kids Camp. The goal of the camp is to not only teach kids in robotics, but to have them learn teamwork, deductive reasoning, and communication through robotics.
Oh, I'm super excited to learn how these systems actually work, because this is the newer system. The one that they've been using for the past almost 20 years no longer exists, so it's a brand new system. How it goes together, how you program it, how you translate that distance and time into a computer program and then put it in to make this little robot move, so many feet in such amount of time and then turn, is always very cool. And anytime I can learn something new myself is great, because then I can translate that to students. But also, again, I'm playing with Legos in the summer, so that'll be great.
For an exclusive interview on the robotics camp with Professor Randy Windsor of Pitt State, just go to our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. The White House is examining its options at how it can bolster abortion rights nationwide, with the president on Sunday hinting at some of the options his administration is considering. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork has the details from Washington.
President Biden on Sunday offering some words of encouragement to pro-choice activists, spurred into action by the Supreme Court's decision last month to overturn Roe v. Wade.
Keep protesting, because keep making your point. It's critically important. We can do a lot of things to accommodate the rights of women. In the meantime,
Biden says he's currently weighing declaring a public health emergency, which would free up federal resources to maintain abortion access. With the midterms looming and abortion now a potential wedge issue in the minds of voters, the president is under increasing pressure from inside his own party to take more concrete steps to protect access. Biden does not have the power to overturn new laws already enacted by multiple states that restrict or ban abortion outright. That would require congressional action.
my ultimate goal is to reinstate Roe v. Wade as a national law by passing it in the United States Congress and I'll sign it the moment that happens.
Republicans, meanwhile, say a federal law on abortion would be government overreach, maintaining that's a decision that should be left up to the states.
This is a moment for our country to have a discussion around this, and each state will decide something different. And I think that's the real value of the Supreme Court's decision.
A White House official on Friday called a potential declaration of a national health emergency not a great option, one that would almost certainly be challenged immediately in court. At the White House, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
We take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Private First Class John Barton served in the Army in Iraq, his hometown, Joplin. We're proud to recognize Private First Class John Barton, tonight's four-state hero. Coming up, police officers in New Jersey save a man from a burning vehicle. Police officers in New Jersey save a man from a burning vehicle. The rescue caught on camera. Fox's Teresa Priolo reports.
Come on. It was a middle-of-the-night call unlike any other. A Honda Civic experiencing some type of electrical malfunction combusts on the side of Route 46. Getting the driver out alive, the sole responsibility of these three Ridgefield Park police officers who would need to make it happen.
We knew we were going to get him out one way or the other.
One way or another turned into a strategic smashing of the windows, trying to outsmart the smoke and the flames.
I did our best to get him out of the driver's side. Unfortunately, none of the doors would open as hard as we tried. When we were unsuccessful with that, I ran around to the passenger side to see if I can pull him out that way. Fortunately, I was able to grab two hands and get him a good portion of his body through that window.
The officers reasoned they had about 5 minutes before this went from an insane rescue to something much more serious. Only Officer Delia had any fire rescue training. The others were running on adrenaline and instinct. Success came just as the flames were taking over the entire car. The victim now at home and not seriously injured.
18-year career, that was the top of the food chain for me, so nothing ever that intense.
This is what's left of the scene. Ash, shattered glass, and mangled melted metal. The victim, Christopher Vagnon, doesn't know why his car caught on fire. He says he is eternally grateful to the Ridgefield Park Police for their quick thinking and for saving his life.
After the forecast, fixing your car, especially if it's crumpled from a wreck, may have you waiting for months. We'll tell you why.
Even though temperatures trended back upward again today, at least we kept things pretty quiet as we wrapped up the weekend. And not only that, the drier air, at least relatively drier air in place, allowed temperatures to look a lot better compared to the past week around here. We had upper 80s for highs the other day, upper 60s this morning, but we did have to climb back to about 93, 94 degrees this afternoon. But again, the lower humidity definitely made any outdoor plants at least bearable throughout much of the day. So even though I have much of the week looking dry with the exception of some rain chances Tuesday and by the coming weekend, we're just going to be looking at mainly hot temperatures through the coming week with maybe a day that we can squeak out highs in the upper 80s. We'll break it all down here in a few, but 7th the range line. It's a nice looking sky as we see the last of the sun's rays beginning to set. 86 in Joplin with the south breeze at 5. Humidity not too terrible really, sitting at 48%. We have much of the area still in the lower to middle 80s, but we're already starting to see a few upper 70s popping up on the board, certainly as you work closer to Nevada and points northeast from there. But today we definitely noticed a change in our wind direction. It was coming out of the north and northeast the other day. This afternoon it was out of the east at 5 to 10 miles per hour, but look at where the direction's coming from now, out of the southeast, and that is a sign that we're going to warm up even more as we get the new work week underway tomorrow. At least we don't have anything threatening on the horizon, even though you can't help but ignore, no, at least a little bit of thunderstorm activity, especially in southwestern parts of Nebraska with some severe weather near North Platte, Nebraska, but that's not immediately heading toward us. But I am watching this cold front that will try to give rain chances for some as we go into Tuesday, and what that'll do is flatten the upper level ridge once again as we get into the middle part of the week. But as long as this upper level ridge is in charge for tonight and tomorrow, It's going to be a mild night, no doubt about it, but at least temperatures will back down before we heat back up tomorrow. Most of us in the upper 60s to lower 70s to get your Monday morning started. I think these skies stay mostly sunny throughout the day, but given that, we'll quickly go into the lower 90s to start the afternoon out, and I'll watch for some afternoon cloud cover, but look at how hot it wants to get. Most of us avoiding triple digits, but when highs are near 97 for tomorrow, this is going to be hot no matter what. But 72 in the morning, 91 by noon, a lot of us pushing near 97 degrees. Then here comes the cold front from the north and west. Depending on how much moisture this can really pick up as it moves on through, I think we're quiet to start Monday night out, but then we'll watch for some isolated thunderstorm chances, mainly for the northeastern parts of the viewing area through the overnight and before the morning drive on our Tuesday. Then behind the front, another dip into the upper 80s to near 90, so at least Tuesday doesn't look bad temperature-wise. But after that front sweeps on through, the upper ridge builds back in again with highs pushing back through the middle and upper 90s to start the coming weekend out. But I want to watch for Saturday and Sunday because we're trying to time out another front that could bring in some more slight thunderstorm chances our way and at least keep temperatures out of the triple digits. But here's how we look for the next 7 days. 97 tomorrow, 89 Tuesday, dropping to 66 Wednesday morning. But once we get past 93 on Wednesday, back into the mid to upper 90s through the rest of the week, Chris.
Nick, thank you. Still ahead, the cost of munching down while you shop going up at a popular big box store. Fixing your car, especially if it's crumpled from a wreck, that may have you waiting for months. Auto body shop owners say they are waiting much longer to get essential parts to repair cars, and the supply chain issue is frustrating. One shop owner says supply snags are the most common when parts have to come from dealerships or when they have to call around the country paying a premium on parts. One of the most hard to get parts, catalytic converters, has a 3-month waiting time and often end up stolen from vehicles because of their metal's value. The cost of munching down while you shop, it's going up at a popular big box store. Costco has raised some prices on items in its food court, popular perk that helps feed the hungry shoppers. The chicken bake, which is chicken and cheese stuffed in pastry, is now $3.99, up from $2.99, and 20-ounce sodas are up 10 cents to 69 cents. The rare food court hikes are likely due to inflation, which hit groceries at 14% in May. The favorite hot dog and soda special is still $1.50, the same since the 1980s. COVID is out and money is in as America's top source of anxiety. An American Psychiatric Association Healthy Minds poll says money worries, particularly when it comes to inflation, are America's top source of inducing stress. The poll surveyed more than 2,000 Americans in late June and found 9 out of 10 Americans say they are anxious or very anxious about inflation. Half of Americans are concerned about a possible loss of income, with Hispanic adults, mothers, millennials, and Generation Zers, the top groups, worried about losing income. Doctors weigh in on why migraines can intensify in the summertime. According to Emad Estamalik, the headache specialist for the Cleveland Clinic, seasonal changes can increase the painful headaches in people. Estamalik says migraines can lead to other symptoms such as nausea and significant sensitivity to light. Helpful treatments include Botox therapy and even some dietary or lifestyle changes. Analysts say 12% of Americans get migraines, with women about 3 times more likely than men. Pediatricians warn about social media and how it affects their attention spans. According to Michael Manos, a pediatric psychologist at Cleveland Clinic, children giving too much attention to their screens have their attention pulled away from face-to-face interactions. Manos says too much social media can make it harder for kids to concentrate in class or complete assignments. The American Academy of Pediatrics says kids under 4 should have no more than an hour of screen time a day, and older kids, no more than 2. Twitter may be preparing for a tough legal battle in the wake of Elon Musk's decision to cancel his $44 billion takeover. According to reports, Twitter executives have assembled a legal team and plan to file a suit later this week. On Friday, Musk blamed the social media site for not being transparent about the number of fake accounts on the platform. Fox News correspondent CHRISTINA is in Los Angeles with the latest.
Twitter could push Musk to pay the $1 billion breakup fee associated with ending the agreement, but instead they say, we'll see you in court. The chair of Twitter's board is committed to closing the deal with Musk and said Friday they'll take legal action to do so. And right now, it appears Musk and Twitter are bracing for an intense legal battle. Bloomberg is now reporting that Twitter has hired a prominent law firm to handle the case. Merger law heavyweight Wachtell, Lipton, Rosen & Katz. Also, Musk has reportedly brought on a firm that successfully defended him against a defamation claim in 2019. Musk's attorneys announced Friday that he's terminating his $44 billion deal with Twitter, citing a lack of transparency in the company's data regarding how much of its user base is made up of fake accounts. Twitter says it's less than 5%. Musk believes it's about 20%.
The lawyers are going to have a heyday with this thing, and something will ultimately get negotiated. The bigger issue, though, is the value of Twitter less because he's uncovered something, which is the number of fake accounts is greater than 5%, meaning that the advertising revenue will not be what they thought it would be because, fake accounts don't buy stuff.
Musk didn't address his decision to terminate his deal with Twitter when he was in front of a lot of tech CEOs and media moguls at a conference on Saturday, but former President Donald Trump didn't hold back his feelings on the matter. While campaigning for Republican midterm candidates in Anchorage, Alaska on Saturday, he called Musk's contract with Twitter a rotten one.
Elon is not going to buy Twitter. He's not going to be buying it. Although he might later, who the hell knows what's going to happen. He's got a pretty rotten contract. I looked at his contract, not a good contract, but he's not. Sign up for truth. We love the truth. And it's doing good.
As for Twitter, the social media giant has taken a big financial hit since all the drama over this deal. Its stock has dropped about 30% since Twitter accepted Musk's offer in late April. Reporting in Los Angeles, CHRISTINA Coleman, Fox News.
Up next, officers rescue a baby deer from a chain link fence. Officers rescue a baby deer from a chain link fence. The West Seneca Police Department in New York shared the video of the rescue on Facebook. Officers came to the aid of a frightened small fawn after reports of the young animal having a hoof caught in a homeowner's chain link fence. They first tried picking up the panicky fawn to help calm it, but when that didn't work, the officers used an extended baton to help stretch the gap between links. Once freed, the deer bounded away, presumably looking for family. This is one I can get behind because I absolutely love what's coming up here. A festival in Texas that one local elected official calls the perfect example of small-town Texas. Fox's Meredith Aldis has that story.
Hundreds are beating the heat with some watermelon treats for the 73rd annual McDade Watermelon Festival.
Yes, it's a little hot, but Texans and McDade folks are tough.
The first McDade Watermelon Festival was held in 1948 to raise money for the McDade school that burned down. Years later, the festival continues to bring the young and old to the town of about 700 people.
This is a perfect, if you will, example of wonderful small town Texas.
It's important. It kind of puts our name on the map. It gets people out.
The festival includes a grand parade featuring tractors, horses, classic cars, and some Fox 7 Austin favorites.
Local news and weather live from Fox 7 Austin.
On the grounds, there's vendor booths, live music, a watermelon eating contest, seed spitting contest, washer tournament, bingo, and tons of watermelon.
Did I get to eat watermelon?
There's just some of the best watermelon in the world. I usually eat 2 or 3, maybe more slices.
Locals compete for prize melon status.
I think the grand champion was 141-something pounds.
Many were excited about the new event this year, the Sweatin' Melons 5K.
Favorite part of the festival? Favorite part of now it's the 5K.
Festival organizers say the money raised continues to help the local schools, as well as youth programs, the food bank, library, and historical museum.
It drives my wife nuts, but I absolutely love watermelon. I can never get enough of it, and it takes up a lot of space in the fridge. So, yeah, that's a festival I should have been at. Hey, stick around. We got 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports when the KOAM News at 9 returns. Right now at 9:30, at least 15 people are killed in a Russian rocket attack in eastern Ukraine. Plus, former Trump advisor Steve Bannon says he'll testify at the House committee investigating the January 6th insurrection. And a 14-year-old boy is killed on a subway platform Saturday afternoon in New York. The KOAM News at 9 continues right now. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Chris Warner. Heavy fighting continues in East Ukraine. At least 15 people were killed after a Russian rocket hit a 5-story apartment building in the town of Kazhiv Yar on Saturday. Ukrainian officials say the death toll could climb, fearing many victims may still be trapped in the rubble. Rescuers rushed to the residential neighborhood to pull out survivors from the wreckage. Local officials believe more than 20 people may still be under the ruins. Kazhiv Yar is located about 12 miles southeast of Kramatorsk, a major target of Russian forces as they slowly push forward in key locations. Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon has told the House committee investigating the insurrection at the Capitol complex that he's willing to testify, preferably at a public hearing. Bannon had been scheduled to go on trial next week on criminal contempt charges for refusing to cooperate with the investigation. His lawyer argued he was asserting executive privilege just as Mr. Trump had. The attorney argued due to executive privilege, Bannon could not provide the materials that were requested by the Select Committee. But on Saturday, former President Trump sent a letter to Bannon that waived executive privilege. A 14-year-old boy is killed on a subway platform Saturday afternoon in New York. New York police say the boy was inside a subway station in Harlem. Police received reports of a crime happening at about 3 p.m. When they arrived, the boy was found on the platform of the northbound number 1 train at the 137th Street and City College station with a stab wound to the abdomen. The boy was rushed to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. No arrests have been made and the boy's identity hasn't been revealed. A man is arrested in Carson City, Nevada, accused of living in a children's museum and storing weapons there. Sheriff's deputies responded to a call of a 2-year-old child wandering near the Carson City Children's Museum. Inside the museum, the deputies found signs that people were living there, including sleeping bags and mattresses. They also found multiple firearms and drug paraphernalia inside a storage closet. Deputies arrested 41-year-old Wilbert Calhoun, the father of the child who was wandering. According to the sheriff's office, Calhoun was a janitor at the museum and his wife was the museum's manager. They've both been fired. Another nice, warm, summer-like day, but from what I understand, there's more on the way. Nick Kelly joining us.
Yeah, we've got an interesting week in terms of up and down temperatures, pretty much varying levels of heat lined up for us, Chris. But just before sunset this evening, can't deny the nice-looking sky to help get our Sunday evening underway. 68 this morning with dry air in place. That allowed us to warm up quickly, rather. One of those is correct, to about 94 degrees this afternoon. We continue to see mostly clear skies as we continue on throughout the course of the night. But the upper levels, look at what's trying to regain control. The upper level ridge, once again, it's not going to be right on top of the area as we go into tomorrow, but we will notice a difference in temperatures. For example, Joplin, you'll bottom out around 72. Other areas, upper 60s to lower 70s to get your Monday morning started. And then we're going to see the temperatures quickly warm up to about 97 for tomorrow, Chris. And for anybody that missed the forecast at home, we'll go over the entire week ahead, including rain chances possibly here in a few.
All right, Nick, thank you. President Biden defending his controversial stop in Saudi Arabia when he travels to the Middle East this week. He is accusing the kingdom of human rights abuses, including the murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. But the president also defends Saudi Arabia as a, quote, strategic partner in the region. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork is at the White House with more.
There's no question about it. Critics have ridiculed the White House for, in effect, going over to Saudi Arabia hat in hand, looking to get them to produce more oil there rather than quickly ramping up oil production here in the States. But it's a tricky proposition, in particular when you consider the president has previously described the kingdom in negative ways, saying he'd like to isolate them as a pariah. However, the White House, indeed the president himself, sees this upcoming trip differently. He penned an op-ed in the Washington Post overnight. In it, he described the visit this way, quote, From the start, my aim was to reorient, but not rupture relations with a country that's been a strategic partner for 80 years. Today, Saudi Arabia has helped to restore unity among the 6 countries of the Gulf Cooperation Council, has fully supported the truce in Yemen, and is now working with my experts to help stabilize oil markets with other OPEC producers. Over on Capitol Hill, lawmakers, especially GOP lawmakers, are skeptical, accusing the president of snake oil salesmanship with no real solutions for the big problems hiding in plain sight, like high gas and food prices and surging inflation.
You want enough money to be able to fill your tank with gas. You want enough money that you can buy a week's worth of groceries, and you want to have enough money to pay the bills at the end of the month. But Joe Biden's not going there.
For its part, the White House says despite heavy criticism from both ends of the political spectrum, it is trying to lower the pain at the pump with a number of measures that are already bringing down wholesale costs.
It's our number one priority to get a handle on these prices, and we will. You know, the Fed is taking strong action. Our president's administration, we're doing everything we know how to do. You're starting to see gas prices come down. Wholesale gas prices are coming down. But until we do get a handle on inflation, I think it's natural for a family to be feeling that pinch.
And yet Americans remain incredibly frustrated, especially with the pain at the pump. The average price nationwide for a gallon of regular unleaded at $4.68. That compares to just $3.14 a gallon a year ago. And for what it's worth, that op-ed posted in the Washington Post by the president overnight, it was 1,386 words long. The word oil was mentioned once. At the White House, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
Coming up, a left-wing group says it's offering bounties to track Supreme Court justices following the Roe v. Wade decision. Weeks after the nation's highest court overruled Roe v. Wade, a left-wing group is offering bounties to track conservative Supreme Court justices. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff has more from Washington.
The left-wing group Shut Down D.C. is looking to incentivize service industry workers specifically into reporting where conservative Supreme Court justices are in real time. On Friday, they put out the call writing, "We'll Venmo you $50 for a confirmed sighting and $200 if they're still there 30 minutes after your message." The post remains active despite Twitter's policy that prohibits encouraging the harassment of specific individuals or groups. Quote, "This includes but is not limited to calls to target people with abuse or harassment online and behavior that urges offline action such as physical harassment." Twitter has not responded to Fox News' inquiry into why that tweet is still up. Now, the bounty offering came exactly a month after a man was charged for showing up to Justice Kavanaugh's home intending to kill him, and 2 days after Kavanaugh was reportedly forced to escape out of the back door of a D.C. Morton's Steakhouse after protesters had learned of his whereabouts. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez mocked that moment, writing, "Poor guy, he left before his souffle because he decided half the country should risk death if they have an ectopic pregnancy within the wrong state lines." To be clear, no state has banned life-saving treatment in the case of ectopic pregnancies. But thousands who marched to the gates of the White House yesterday feel the Supreme Court's ruling threatens women's health and privacy. They called on the president to declare an abortion-related public health emergency. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Nick's going to be up next with another look at our week ahead. Nick, thank you. Coming up in sports, 8 Outlaws players compete in tonight's Mink League All-Star game. Plus, Joplin American and Joplin National play for a spot in the District 2 Tournament Championship. Danny Terzer's got those highlights next.
Missouri Little League District 2 tournament continues today. Webb City won their semifinal game on Saturday and have earned a spot in the championship game on Monday. The other semifinal is this evening. It's Joplin American against Joplin National. Picking it up in the 6th, Odson Ledford smacks it down the left field line. Ledford going all the way, rounds third and makes it home safely for an inside the park home run. Bottom half, Ethan Garrow gets a big hit out to center field fence. Nolan Bronson scores to put Joplin American within 1. Then with runners in scoring position, Rhett Perigo gets him looking for the final strikeout. That's the game. Joplin National hangs on to win 5-4. Today is the Mink League Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. Carson Carpenter is representing the Outlaws in the Home Run Derby, and 8 other players have made it on this year's All-Star roster. The Outlaws are in the South Division. The North is leading right now 7-2 in the 9th. Outlaws infielder Caden Bressler has an RBI single in the game. In the majors, Cards looking for their first win in this 4-game series with the Phillies. Lars Nootbaar ties the game up at 1 with a single to left. Nolan Arenado scores. 5th inning, Kyle Schwarber crushes this ball to dead center. Solo home run, Phillies up 3-1. Next inning, Albert Pujols chips away at the Phillies lead, homer of his own. And then in the 8th inning, it's tied at 3, bases loaded for the Cards. Tommy Edman pops it up to center. Dylan Carlson scores off the sac fly, and the Cardinals come back to win 4-3. Royals host the Guardians. Kyle Isbell gets it going, smacks a line drive to right for an RBI single. Later, Andrew Benintendi gets it through the hole. That's a base hit. Nicky Lopez scores. 2 batters later, Royals load the bases. MJ Melendez drops it into shallow center. 2 score. Melendez is out at second, but it's 4-0 Kansas City. They add to their lead again in the 6th. Lopez goes the other way for a single. Isbell comes home. Royals win the series finale 5-1. Nick Kyrgios takes on Novak Djokovic in the men's Wimbledon final today. Kyrgios strong early, comes to the net, hits the overhead winner. He takes the first set 6-4. Djokovic comes back to lead 2-1. 4th set tiebreaker here. Kyrgios puts it long. Then 3rd championship point for Djokovic. Kyrgios hits it into the net. That's the match. Djokovic wins in 4 sets. It's his 4th straight Wimbledon title and 7th overall, and he's now a 21-time major champion. That's it for sports. We're back after this.
Crowds in Los Angeles are showing few signs of COVID precautions as a rise in cases fueled by the most contagious subvariant could soon trigger the return of indoor mask mandates. Nationwide, BA.5 is responsible for more than half of all new cases, and CBS News medical contributor Dr. David Agus says a prior infection may not stop this strain. Here's now is CBS's Danya Bacchus.
Crowds in Los Angeles are showing few signs of COVID precautions as a rise in cases, fueled by the most contagious subvariant, could soon trigger the return of indoor mask mandates. Nationwide, BA.5 is responsible for more than half of all new cases. CBS News medical contributor Dr. David Agus says a prior infection may not stop this strain.
If you had Omicron a couple weeks ago, you can get reinfected now.
Do you think that Americans are still taking this virus seriously?
Americans have moved on from COVID-19, and the problem is COVID-19 hasn't moved on from America.
Nearly 60% of the population is living in a high or medium COVID risk area, and that threat comes as summer travel hits pre-pandemic levels.
We look at the numbers compared to a year ago. Where are we?
In some aspects, we're much better. In some aspects, we're not. The hard part is we don't have good numbers.
While there's less demand for vaccines, Moderna just had to throw away about 30 million doses. Dr. Agus says they are the best weapon against another deadly COVID wave.
We're in a controllable situation now, and that's good. And that's partly because of these vaccines. We have to get better at our booster campaign. And that is very, very clear. And in certain circumstances, we may have to change our behavior by wearing masks and other things.
Updated vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna are expected in October. Dr. Agus says we're going to need periodic booster shots to give us greater protection against future variants. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
We're back right after this. Well, the latest movie featuring the mighty Thor brought the rainbow to the box office this weekend. How much did Thor: Love and Thunder plunder? Rick Damigella has the box office countdown.
That's another plane, right?
Jurassic World Dominion stomped its way to a 5th place finish with $8.4 million, bringing its domestic box office total to just over $350 million. Elvis played in 4th place on ticket sales of $11 million, while Top Gun Maverick dove into 3rd with $15.5 million. Minions: The Rise of Gru finished 2nd, making off with $45.6 million, bringing its domestic box office total to just over $210 million after 2 weekends in theaters. Thor: Love and Thunder hammered its way to a 1st place win with an estimated $143 million. That figure, combined with international box office numbers, gives Love and Thunder a worldwide box office total of $302 million. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
It's always neat to see this every weekend because it's neat to see what movies are out there and how they're doing, because I still need to see Jurassic World Dominion, so
yeah,
I haven't had a chance to do that. It's going to feel like the Jurassic era almost when it comes to temperatures this week.
Yeah, if it's a little too hot for you, maybe the movie theater with the AC is the place to be. Certainly with highs tomorrow pushing near 97. We're dry for the day and the humidity won't be too terribly high. I want to watch for slight rain chances Tuesday morning. That front will mainly knock us back near 89. And then 90s, thankfully just 90s for the rest of the stretch, Chris.
All right, Nick, thank you. It's our time for now. We'll see you back here next time, and thanks for making us part of your night.